I'm a sole trader architect. I established my practice 18 months ago, and by default of working in Edinburgh, a lot of my buildings are listed buildings. And so in the last year I've worked on 4 addresses within the actual World Heritage Site, 3 of which have been at Carlton Hill and 1 at Magdala Mews in the West End. You can see here this is Eglinton Crescent, Magdala Crescent, and this is actually Magdala Mews in the middle. The actual Mews buildings themselves are 1 to 7. This is my property here. Number 10, there's no 8 and 9, there is a 10, and then there's a 13. So number 10 Magdala Mews came about when number 15 Magdala Crescent was subdivided in about 1985 into 4 properties. So there's 1, 2, 3 properties accessed from Magdala Crescent, and the 4th one is a garden dwelling which is solely accessed from the Mews Lane, which is why it's ended up with a Mews address, even though it's obviously not a Mews house. You can see that all these outshoots are different at the back. This is how it was 2 summers ago. Garage, conservatory, which my clients call the bus shelter. You can see how it's just ramming in underneath that outshoot. The stonework is just painted with a conservatory. The garage wall is sitting atop the boundary wall. This is the existing plan on the left, and my clients bought it with an idea of actually just demolishing the garage and the conservatory and building an L-shaped extension. And on the right is the plan that I developed in pre-application discussion with the listed buildings team. So a separate room in the garden connected by a glazed connection, and there it is. So this is the new front door here with the timber cladding, the room in the garden, the glazed connection tucked just behind where we can't see it from this view, and the lower room of the original 2-storey dwelling, giving new access into the garden where the conservatory originally was. And so this is the view from the other side. That's the glazed connection. I suppose it's quite a conventional move for dealing with connecting something that's new to something that's old. So this is the transparency, the permeability between the front garden and what's now the enclosed garden. This shows another strategy that I use, which is obviously, well, this drawing is to demonstrate the subservience. So the subservience of the extension, 1 single-storey extension against the 2-storey outshoot dwelling against the 3-storey townhouse beyond, and that's obviously the rear side of the townhouse rather than the grandness of the front. This is a detail through that extension, and you can see that it is now sitting away from the boundary wall. The actual material that I use for the solid wall is a Ziegel block, which is a perforated clay block, and you can see that even without any wall insulation, it gives me a 0.11 U value, which was necessary for offsetting the 70% glazing to floor area ratio. That obviously includes the glazing that was needed for the link as well. This is the actual block going up with insulated mortar in between, steel gold post for the large glazed opening to the front, and fairly traditional timber roof construction. These sketches show a couple of things that I did to maybe manipulate the authenticity, I would say, of my intervention. This is showing the downstairs room with the glazed link coming in, and how it's actually timber frame construction, but the thickness of the wall was preserved for inside. This is a view within the link space going back into the original house, and you can see that the stone actually stops. I think I would originally have wanted the stone to go all the way through, so you knew that you were going into the existing house, but there's the break there with the glazing, which kind of worked out better technically. Some more views of that link. To do with the roof build-up, there wasn't really much space underneath the outshoot, but obviously it's not taking up the whole width of the house anymore. It's just tucked underneath, and the ceiling drops to about 2,150, and then the main room raises back up to 2,550. This is something else that we also did, is retained the garage facade and parapet. It's obviously not a garage anymore. This is the actual entrance vestibule behind. Same scale, same height as all the other garage parapets. I think it helps to break up the mass as well, obviously, and has the hierarchy of subservience. These are a few views of the enclosed garden, and you can see that that original outshoot facade has been quite chopped and changed anyway. That was the door of the dwelling, and then there would have been windows for the maids' outshoots when that was the only place in the house that had the sinks. This is the view from the first floor window across the houses. This is the upper bedroom, which was always the main bedroom. You can see how this lovely shape is preserved, and you get the whole width of that room as well. That was upgraded to better than 0.35, so there's extra insulation there. This is looking through from the new room all the way through to the original house. You can see how the light's coming in, where that connection happens, but there's still the continuity of space. And just the final shot from that room, sitting in the garden. You can see in the distance the end mews behind. That's it.
Thank you.